All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Your Higher Self. And today I am joined with Andrew Jean-Baptiste, which is a very famous football player. And you must be used to interviews now, but this one is going to be very different. So Andrew is my ex-boyfriend, and we're going to ask him some hard questions. So it's going to be fun. So tell us about yourself, Andrew.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, born and bred over there, raised there, lived there all my life. Been playing soccer since as long as I can remember. Luckily, because of it, has brought me to all places of the world, hence how we met, which brought me on this lovely show today. So, yeah, just been playing. Soccer's my life, and right after this, I'm gonna go coach some kids, because this is what I do. And all these years I've been playing, it would be selfish for me to keep all this knowledge to myself. So I coach the youth to hopefully build successful players, or whether they take it professionally or they just use it to get into school and start their lives, and hopefully they figure things out from there.
That's beautiful. And then today we're also going to explore our relationship, so then people can actually also help within their relationship, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's see if we've learned some things. So I think before we begin with the questions, because I did ask Instagram some questions on what they would ask their ex-boyfriends, and I'm going to grill you with them.
Hit me with your best shot.
And I think, just talk about our history a little. So we met in Malaysia in 2019, 18? No idea.
It's been so long. COVID messed up everybody's sense of time right now. So
yeah. And also I don't think I put you in my calendar for dated you then. Oh, okay, sorry. The truth comes out. The truth is coming out today.
To think I have your birthday marked on mine, huh?
Wait, do you actually?
Yeah, it's actually always since then.
That's why you never miss it? Oh, stop it.
To be fair, I would have never missed it anyway, because it's a holiday back in the States. I mean, well, it's Cinco de Mayo, which I told you, which you were like, what? And so that's why I was like, I would never actually miss it, because I know the date to it in itself. So while I'm taking the tequila shot, I'll be like, oh yeah, oh, it's your birthday, and then boom, so.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you. Okay. Oh no, now I feel bad. I actually don't know yours. I know you're a Gemini.
There you go.
So I know the month.
You're halfway there.
I think I always say happy birthday though, right? As if I see it pop up. I don't know dates. I can't remember dates at all.
Hence why it was on the calendar for me.
Oh no, I feel so bad. But anyways, so we met in Malaysia. We didn't really date for too long. I would say around 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Super toxic. Very toxic. We did not get along.
Yeah, bump heads quite a bit, eh?
Yeah. And I think that's why, let's see, have we grown from that? I think I was 19, you were 26, something like that.
No, you were 20.
Was I?
Yeah, I specifically remember 20, because it was like, I remember one time you were just like, don't ever tell me about my age. And I'm just like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like me.
You didn't like it being thrown in your face. Like, obviously, I respect anybody that is younger than someone else wouldn't want their age to be thrown at them, because it's like it's an easy excuse to use on someone. You know what I mean? Because once again, age doesn't signify maturity or intellect. It's just an age.
Yeah, that's why I was mad at that. I'm probably still mad if somebody brings it up, to be honest.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, and then we did long distance, most of it, I think, probably. Anyways, anything else that needs to be brought up, I'm thinking, for the questions? No, just, and we were really good friends, really good friends. So I think it was probably one of the best, most fun times I've ever had. So thank you for that. We just ignore the issues, and then it was great.
Yeah, so that's honestly what it was like. Because apart from the shit that we are, wait, can I curse?
Oh, sure. I'll put it as explicit content.
Okay, all right, good. Well, all right. Well, I mean, some of the things we're gonna talk about is gonna be pretty explicit. So, but for the most part, like if you got past just the toxicity, like it was great. Like we clashed well in many ways. You know what I mean? Like our you know our open mindedness. You know what I mean? Our willing to explore and understand a lot of things. But the funny thing is, we were so willing to explore so much about like the outside world, but and understand the outside world, but we didn't do that exactly so well with each other and stuff like that to the point where our own opinions became so conflicting between one another, and yeah, it was interesting. It was
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, no, when you said that, I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to take notes on this later. And you know what? I have grown from that because I've recently ended something with someone. It wasn't really a relationship, it kind of was very complicated. And it's the opposite of us pretty much because we were complete opposites, me and that guy, and we hated each other. But then we valued each other's opinions so much, we never really argued. But we would really openly talk about our views, even though they were polar opposites on everything. But
Yeah.
then, God, he was boring. So yeah,
Honestly,
that was.
I don't know how anybody that's spontaneous ever settles down with someone that's a little bit more reserved. It's like you kind of want to go out there, but they're like, nah, let's do this, and it's like, well, eventually that it's gonna get boring a little bit, one little spice, just a little.
Yeah, I think how we met was probably one of the best moments of my life. How, yeah, did we spend 48 hours together or was it 24 hours?
48 the
48.
first 2 days.
And that was so fun. I remember just saying some really dark jokes to you, and then you being able to take it, and I was like, okay, it's good. And then my cheeks hurting because I was laughing too much.
Oh, our first 48 hours was just amazing. It was that, mind you, that was the only time we actually didn't argue the whole time. But because it's you spend that much time with someone, you're like, surely at some point something is gonna, arise, and then this is why, But it was like it just went so smooth for the first 48. It was
And
interesting.
I think that's definitely where we went wrong. We should have stayed friends. I think we were not compatible at all.
It's I don't know. Yeah, you said that before, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't the where we're not compatible. I don't see it in the same sense as because I don't know. It's just such conflicting expressions when it's like, oh, you should be with someone that's like your best friend, and just like then there's like friends. Then like where's the issue really? Was it like where it's in like the relationship stage, or hanging out with them and stuff like that, like when they're a friend? It's just like, what is it? It was more for me. I feel like the compatibility was understanding our values as far as relationship standards, as opposed to how we are when we hung out with one another,
So you think we were compatible?
in ways, but the way we conflicted was just so toxic because we went at it so aggressively. We didn't do it calmly. We
Oh
were very
no.
like we did go about it very like there was things that you wanted, like I can think of an expression right now.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
can
gonna
remember.
come up. That is gonna come
uh,
up, and you knew it was gonna come out.
Yeah, I remember a situation right now at the top of my head.
Hmm.
For
I
example,
know what you're thinking.
is the one at the hotel.
What? What?
Oh no! All right. So
Oh,
I'll think of when we
oh,
were in
are you talking about the hotel one in
Cambodia.
Cambodia?
Yeah. And
I don't know, there's too many ones in that hotel.
oh, damn Cambodia! Hey, what did it do to us? Nah, it was just funny. You were just like, oh, you were like in the shower, I guess. Then you said, wait. And I was like, I heard you. But then I like went to the elevator, call the elevator over. And I like walked back over. And then you were just like, and then I hear you screaming because you heard the door close. And I'm just like, who is this chick screaming at right now? I was like, yo, I'm good. I just went straight to the pool. I just went straight to the pool. And then you came up, you were just like, then you waited. You stayed in the room for like, what, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? And then you finally came up to the pool. And obviously, I could have came down, but I didn't. I waited by the pool, and then eventually you came up. And then what did you just say? You was like, when I say wait, you wait. And I was like,
The attitude on her.
I was just like, really? Like, it wasn't that serious. Like, I went to go get the elevator, but then I heard you like going off when you heard the door close, and that's why I was like, yeah. And then once again, my petty nature responded as so. Your petty nature stayed in the room. You see what I mean?
I think there was more to that story.
Oh, please elaborate.
I think the main issue that kept on popping up about Instagram was probably what initiated it.
Oh, that's what caused that was an initiation of that, because we were going upstairs to the pool upstairs. That did create some of the tension prior to that, but I wouldn't say that was the reason why you felt like you were going to stay in the room. But now, if we want to get on the topic of Instagram, this is the drum roll conversation of it all, because
drum roll. I was like, oh, when is that one coming up?
This has been the only thing that has set us off the most. You know, like, everything else could have been resolved very easily. This one.
That's why I think we were not compatible, because, oh my God, I think we can be very, very good friends. We have so much fun together, so much respect for each other, so much care for each other. But God, our values and cultures are complete opposites. There's no way we could ever work in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean but that also goes for a lot of Caribbean men, because the thing is, a lot of them are a lot worse than I am. Once again, I'm an open-minded person. A lot of them are way much worse, and African guys, like, they're worse than that. And then obviously that same kind of mindset applies in other countries who are not, black countries and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, that Instagram thing caused up with quite a stir. I mean, you felt a lot of ways about it. And
yeah,
obviously, it's, for me, where I stood off is, I'm a person that's, I see both sides of every story, not just of every argument, every story, whatever, because I can't only be naive to only think that my side is the right way.
Did
However,
you really see my side though? I think we also
did.
need to explain what it is, because no one knows at the moment what the Instagram thing is. So I had a big problem with you because you follow over 2,000 girls that twerk, that are half naked, that are cam girls, which I have no problem with them and then doing what they do. But I have a problem with you following.
I'm gonna just say that number is wildly exaggerated. That's all I'm gonna say.
You have 2,000 people.
Listen. I have listen. To sit here and say, at that time, I barely had 2,000 followers alone. To sit here and say all 2,000, majority of that 2,000, you're talking about 90% of them just being worker girls. That was the part that was very over exaggerated, because a lot of those people, not just the girls, a lot of those people are people who followed me and I followed back. So to sit here and say that there were over 2,000 or even 1,000, that was very wildly exaggerated, because I know a lot of people from around the world. To sit here and say that all my people, everybody that I follow were just workers, like, that was wildly exaggerated. But I will agree with you on this. Yes, I did follow a lot of girls. I did. I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, at the end of the day, social media is social media for its own. And that was always my argument. It was just the fact that it's like, there's no harm in who I follow. Like, social media is meant for the sole purpose of, oh, you follow somebody, you like it, whatever. But one's intentions is what defines everything about it. You see what I mean? It wasn't like I'm going on all these on the photos. Oh my God, you're gorgeous, this and that. It's just a like, and then I go. Yes.
Yeah, right. But I think we have different views on that one, which is why I think it's nice to actually talk about it, because obviously everybody's going to have their own different views, and we have polar opposite views on this one. So I think it's actually quite an important topic to talk about, because for me, it was just simply, I saw it as disrespect. I saw it as a kind of, I guess, kind of cheating. I don't know whether or not I would say it's cheating, but
Definitely said you
it
definitely kept
felt
on using the word cheating loosely and through all
okay.
that.
Back then, definitely it was cheating. Right now, I would say I don't know if it would be cheating, but I personally wouldn't go with somebody who has that kind of following and who likes that kind of pictures, mostly because I don't understand it myself and I don't do it myself. Like everybody that I follow, I either know personally or they're idols in saving the environment, in acrobatics or anything like that. I don't follow anyone that has that type of content, if you know what I mean. Unless I
But the thing, I'm sorry to cut you off. I guess that's one of the things that also made us uncompatible as well.
oh my God, stop it.
But like, look, but we're and once again, I understood that, you know, if I was gonna make this relationship work, that I was like, all right, I need to start unfollowing. Where I was coming off from was you were so this it has you have to, and I was just like, yo, ease up. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and spend the next 2 hours going through my followers and follow every single one. I'm gonna just go about it accordingly. Like, all right, it comes up on my gram, boom, unfollow this person. If I'm on my Instagram, I'll go through, all right, boom, and I
I
unfollow
think
that
you
person.
forgot. I think you forgot the part where I was like, okay, I'm understanding of that, and you can take your time. Only issue is don't go around liking them. And what you would do is like
I
them every
like
single day, even like an hour after we've had that conversation.
and
That
this
was
was the
taking a
petty.
piss.
This was the pettiness I was doing. The part with that was always frustrating me was just like I saw it quite contradicting, considering, you know, the line of work of friends that you had you like that you knew and shit like that. And I was like, I hear where you're coming from. I really do. But I'm like, in any bit of this, do you not find this a little bit contradicting? You know what I mean? It was just like,
I didn't, because just because I don't judge these industries. I don't judge these industries,
but you
and I
judged
would
it.
never judge those people at all. And like, I'm friends with them and I support them, but I don't want my men being in that industry.
I wasn't in the industry. I'm on social
I know,
media.
but like, doing the
I
little
wasn't.
lights, doing
I
those
wasn't
little
at
lights.
I wasn't at strip clubs. I wasn't throwing money on these girls. You see what I mean? I wasn't sitting here and entertaining or showing up to specific places where they're at just because I know they're gonna be on stage shaking their booties
Even
and stuff
worse,
like
you're
that.
doing it for free. At least pay
Because
them
that's
for their
what's so,
services.
who's paying them for any services? I haven't dropped a dime. All they did was get a like. Let's get back to that.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. So, anyways, what I do enjoy about this conversation is just seeing how much we've both grown since then. I'm definitely a completely new person since then. You know what? I'm going to thank you for it. It was after our relationship that I went, you know what? I don't like how I'm handling issues and things that come up, and I'm not going to treat somebody like that ever again. So
And
I
I learned
did.
from it.
And
I learned from it too. I took things more of a like regardless of. I mean, for me, I understood more of if someone comes at me more aggressive, it's more of a sign of how passionate they may feel about it. You know what I mean? At the same time, I can't let my pettiness overcome and be like, well, all right, this is what I'm gonna do to help you, like not help you, but basically get you to settle down because how you're coming at me right now is not matching my energy, and this energy is very disruptive to me. But at the same time, I started taking that upon myself, like, all right, my energy got messed up a little bit over here because of that right now, but how they feel about it is the main issue. You see what
yeah,
I mean? And I
by the
started
way,
taking that. Mhm.
um, you also came at it the same as I did. Which is why I said that I think we were really toxic, is because we didn't bring out the best conversation out of each other, like best
No,
communication out of each other. And I think it was bringing out the worst. And I was like, okay, I need to sort this out. First off, I need to be with someone who can um, bring out the best conversation, communication out of me and the best out of me. But number two, I also need to be a lot more understanding and a lot more calm. So since then, I've never once raised my voice at any partners that I've had. Yeah, not really at all. Only
Yeah.
maybe at the breakup when they weren't listening to me and I eventually just raised my voice as a little like, hey,
Yeah.
let me speak. But that's it. And every time I've
Makes the person
regretted it
last.
because it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah. Like, no, and I've came across that myself where I'm in the middle of a conversation. Like if I said something and they disregarded it or, dismissed it. And I'm like, and I catch notice of that. And normally like that would get me aggravated. And I'm just like, and that right there was the indicator where I'm like, I'm about to repeat myself again. So please, let me lower my tone. All right, take a deep breath. Let me say what I have to say. Let me say it in a different tone and maybe the message might get across clearer.
That smile just did remind me of literally every argument we've ever had. Like we were both smiling and being like, all right, let's outdo each other.
Yo, that's really what it was. It was like you went here, I went there, you went here, I went there. It was just like we just kept on doing it. And it was just like, what are we doing?
I
And
think
then,
it was like, did we take it seriously or did we technically see each other as a joke at that point?
I don't even know. I
I
don't
think it
know. It
is. I think we didn't take it that seriously.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I was because at the same time, like, I don't know if I put my energy and time into something or someone, like I'm gonna see it through. You know what I mean? But for me, it's more of I like keeping myself just like in line with it to make sure that nothing kind of diverts me off of it. Because if not, then I'll just lose track of it. Then it gets to that. I don't take it seriously, and I feel like those first couple months I feel like we was in it, but then it was just more and more. And then I told you I had a lot of stuff going on with my footy at the time. I was dealing with what I was dealing with, and I was just like, hey, not to say that you're not an amazing person, and you came to the same agreement as well. You know what I mean? Like we were also like we were both doing things that were transitioning in our lifestyles. So, and we both caught notice that, all right, yes, you're an amazing person. And I say that right now, you're still an amazing person,
No,
and
you
I know
should.
you say it too. Yeah, say it. So.
Oh, you are
No,
an
I'm just kidding.
amazing person.
I'm just
You're
kidding. I'm
great.
not fishing. I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm not freaking out. What's that guy's name? Shane from whatever show that was. Yeah, we were just transitioning at different times and stuff like that. I was transitioning to different teams. You were transitioning to different work. You were going from Perth to whatever that other town was, and it was just like, you know, not to say that this couldn't work, but right now, I think right now, what we're doing in our life is very important.
Yeah, for
And I
me, it
think
was
we should.
just, sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, for me, it was just the fact that we have very different values and cultures, and I just couldn't get past it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that
But
was
that's
for me, but there's
yeah.
no way at all that I was going to judge you as a person on it because you're not the right person for me. You're not a good partner for me, but I think you're an amazing, great person and you're an amazing, great friend as well. And I mean, surely you will definitely make somebody happy, and that person's just not me, and it's somebody that's more like you. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
same with me.
Some
I'm not at all the good person for you.
yeah, it's literally the girl I'm dating right now, where she's Caribbean, you know what I mean? She understands a lot of this, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the things I've explained, these are things where, and I also said this before, it was just like, and I'm seeing her come across, I'm just like, whoa, like, yeah, I understand your values and stuff like that, but it was like, these values are also very, you know, set in stone, there was no compromising on any area. It was just like, you know what I mean? Like I know where I have my values and where I would want to couple. Like, for example, Caribbeans, we dance. And dancing doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, that's who I'm taking home tonight. That it's just dancing. You know what I mean? Whether it's Tijuana, compa, salsa, merengue, you know what I mean? Like it's just dancing a dance, you know what I mean? Some of it can look seductive or some of it can be very innocent. But at the end of the day, it doesn't signify, oh, this is about to go down. But that's something that bothers you, you know what I mean? But at the same time, for me, if I really want to make something happen, I don't mind. Okay, don't dance with anybody. Okay, I guess that's not exactly the hardest thing to do. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. But there was also some things of your vows where there was no budge. There was no budge room in there. And I respect it. You stay true to what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
But
But then also I was very young and immature. I'm not gonna give myself excuses there.
see, now if I had said that back then, you would have ripped my head off. Like, oh, don't come at me about my age. You know what I mean? But like, nah, we was in. I know I was immature. I
Yeah.
thought that I was. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
mean, also we all learn our communication skills from when we were young, and my household is very fiery. So for me, obviously that's where my communication skills had been taught. So I communicated that way. That was how I communicated. But I've seen how it can be destructive. And so now I've completely done a 180. Don't want to go back there.
Yeah. No,
But
same. My household, my mom, whatever my mom says, it goes. Daddy says it goes. You know what I mean? But like, and that's kind of how like the position I was starting to take up in my life. But then I started to be more of like, nah, let me be a little bit more open minded in things. And then sometimes I just get off in the whole like, and I feel like this is actually an issue that I've done in the past, and I didn't mention at all was I'm argumentative. Like, so even if it's something that I don't truly believe in, I will dispute it for whatever case, because I'm more curious of what do you have to say about it that's so against it that you're gonna stand so truly by it. And I think that was really a big thing. Like, and some of the things that you mentioned, it's just like I don't really have a need to follow girls on Instagram. However, you stood so strongly about it. So you went on and on about it. I'm just like, okay, and this, okay, and that. But this is a bit contradicting, don't you think? Because in reality, if I really wanted to make it work, I bet.
on that note, we only
Mhm.
have like 7 minutes left. So I do want to go into the
Okay.
questions. So
Oh yeah, those.
yeah, so number one, do you think that exes can be friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 74% of people on Instagram agree.
No, I would
26
hope
don't.
so. Yeah, it's intentions. You know what I mean? It's intentions at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
And I think also it depends on how the relationship ended, just because, of course, I think we can definitely be friends because we actually respect and value each other. But I've since
Without
then
a doubt.
been in a lot of abusive relationships, and there's no way I'll be friends with them.
Nor verbally abusive, because that's something I know for damn sure I was not about to be doing that. The one thing I know for sure, there's one thing that you always did hate it when I'd be like, it's a New York expression. I'm like, yo, fuck out of here. You'd be like, I'm not leaving. And I'm just like, no, not literally.
Well, yeah, I don't like that being said.
Oh yeah. I know. I don't like when someone goes, do you? And I'm like, don't say that. If you want me to do me, if you want me to
All
do me,
right. Question number 2. Are you happy?
yeah, extremely.
Good job. Like, let's fist pump. Proud of you.
Boom.
Ooh, what did you like and dislike about me?
Um, I liked. I like the adventure nature that you had, like that just came to you. You know what I mean? There's not a place on this earth that you would sit here and be like, oh no, you know what I mean? Maybe cautious, you know what I mean? But you would still explore it. And I love that. I was like, yo, let's do it. Like trying to go to Iran. Like you know what I mean?
I would
You
have
know
said
what I mean?
yes.
Like I know you would have. See what I mean? Like I love that. I'm just like, yo, yeah, I know for sure. Like this was someone that, would travel all ends of the world because, what's the point of being on this world if you can't, at least try to see all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dislike, I dislike that you live so far away.
That's not.
Perth was just too damn far. Gosh, even if I landed in Sydney, it was
You
like,
never
gosh,
even try to come visit me.
I was in the seas and we done. Yeah, that's another discussion.
Okay.
I'm going to Perth.
Ooh, this one. I think we've kind of covered it a little bit, but let's go deep in that one. Do you treat your current partner the same as you treated me?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a little bit of both. I'm not a complete changed person where, I don't do any of the stuff I've done before. No, I have. The difference is, there's things that doesn't bother them in the same sense that bothers you or someone else. So I felt like that area wouldn't need to be changed. And no, no, because yeah, I'm just way much more patient and calming and understanding than I ever was. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's making this relationship rock. You know what I mean? Like,
Love that. Yeah, for me, definitely don't treat anybody now the same way as I did with you. But my values are still the same.
mm,
The only thing is, I've learned now not to go into a relationship wanting to change someone. So I knew your Instagram following before we decided to be together, and that was on me. I couldn't have expected you to do that for me. So now I make sure that somebody has the same values as me before I enter a relationship. So I completely
now,
do treat them.
let me ask you this question: next guy that you meet, same following base, you know what I mean? And you sit here and say, "Yo, I don't like that stuff," and then he goes and deletes all of it. What does it? Does it change anything? Because he's still the same person who followed them. He just chose to not follow them because of you. But
Um,
is he not the same person,
I
or
haven't
is it because
been
he
in
did it
that
in the first place?
situation yet, just because um who I surround myself with is a lot different now. And I attract very different people in my life now. So I've never really had that situation happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I try not to judge anyone. So obviously if I really like this person, sure. But I don't think so, just because now that I've grown up, I know what works with me and what doesn't. And I just generally, every time I've ended up being like, oh, you know what, I can see a future with this person, I've never really had that problem come up because, yeah, I don't attract that kind of relationship anymore.
Mm, sure, sure.
Mm.
So you don't meet athletes no more. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kind of.
Oh, this one will be the last question. But I think we kind of covered a lot of these. But do you believe we could have worked out? If so, why did you not give it a chance? That's somebody's question. So,
I mean, I think you said that you said no. I mean, you said this before. You said no, and you want to think it would have worked out. I mean, I'm a little bit more optimistic because once again, I'm a kind of person that believes in like compromise and understanding and stuff like that. So I feel like in ways, and I said this in the beginning. I mean, a lot of the things that caused a lot of our arguments were something that's easily avoidable. You see what I mean?
mm,
So for me, on my end, I know I could have, if you wanted me to just sit there 2 hours, go and scroll through all my shit, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
two
If
hours
you
isn't
want
a
me
long time. 2 hours is
yeah,
not a long
yeah,
time.
yeah, like you said, 2,000 on these months. Mind you, I want you to go to my gram right now. You're gonna see that I barely follow 2,000 alone, but but yeah, either way, like for me on my end, I think yeah, only because what you were asking of me is not necessarily would have been the hardest thing for me. But at the same time, what raised flags for me was how you went about it, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
in the first place. But if that's something that you felt like you changed on, then you changed and I changed. You see what I mean?
Mm,
So to sit here and say, could it worked out? I don't know. I don't know. Could it? I believe it could have if put in a better situation. Because at the
yeah.
end of the day, you still are, what is it, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm almost around 8 o'clock at
Mhm.
night. Yeah, so there you go.
All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, we've reached the time limit now. So thank you. And yeah, thanks for being super honest and joining on this. It's a weird request, but I think it was super fun.
Honestly, I've been looking forward to this since you last asked me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, we need to
ooh,
catch up again. Let's
shoot.
catch up.
Hold I tried to find old messages. I was like, nah, they're all deleted. Damn. Nah.
Oh no. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Instagram saved
Nah.
me.
Yeah, no, I know. But nah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime. Once again, we said we're good friends. And that's what I love about it.
Yes.
So
So that was all the time we had with Andrew, and I had such a good time talking to him and interviewing him. But doing the editing, I did notice something which I guess kind of saddened me in a way. And this is, I wish he was here just to continue this conversation. That is just that it just sounded a little bit that the blame was on me when it came to the Instagram thing, but I think I didn't exactly go into details of the reality of that story and why it affected me the way it had. And that's because back at the time, I was going through a lot of issues personally on my self-confidence. And what had happened was that I had stated my boundary straight up with Drew quite early on that this one thing was bothering me and it was bothering my confidence. And at the same time, he was not respectful of that. And within an hour of having that discussion, he would go around liking pictures that he knew would upset me, just because, I guess, maybe as a way to get back at me, as he mentioned in this interview. It was not only that was bothering me, it was also the fact that he never wanted to post me on social media, which I understand, but he refused to also like any of my pictures at the time because he didn't want anyone to know that we were dating. So for me, those were red flags because he wasn't liking my pictures, but he was liking other girls' pictures all the time. And he wasn't posting me when all he was doing was validating other girls and not validating me. And what happened with that also is that he posted every day a lot of memes about cheating. And we had a lot of discussions about that as well. And it was memes, so it was jokes, but it was just a compact of everything that it was just making me very insecure, because not only was I insecure in my own private life, but I was also dealing with someone who wasn't validating me, who was validating other girls, who also wouldn't post me and keep me a secret and then post about cheating. So it had put me in a very vulnerable state where I didn't know where I stood. I was very insecure in the relationship. I just felt like my boundaries were being pushed, even though I kept on stating my boundaries, which is where the communication just non-existent. Because if you have somebody that's going around stating a boundary and the other person is completely ignorant of that boundary and pushes that boundary, it becomes kind of evident that the other person whose boundary is being stepped over ends up trying to find a desperate way to communicate, hey, this is not enough, this is not good, like, hey, enough is enough, this is hurting me. And I think that was a scenario in this case. So I just wanted to talk about that. And I do wish I still had Drew on the line right now to talk about it, because definitely I don't want to put Drew under the bus. Drew is a beautiful, wonderful person. But looking back at the interview, it's a bit hard to listen to some of the language used on how apparently I voiced my boundary, but that apparently my boundary was not valid. And I think in every single case, a boundary is valid because everyone's unique and everyone has their own belief systems. Everyone has their own boundaries. And I had clearly stated mine, which, if you put all the factors in together, it's a very valid boundary. Now, I'm not saying that every relationship will be this way, because obviously that's a boundary that depends on who you are and the relationship that you want. And I'm really, really excited to see Drew has found somebody who doesn't have that boundary and who works wonderful with him. And that's why I think that they work so well together, and why Drew and I didn't work so well together, just because I had this boundary that, for me, the reason I stood so strongly about, as he said, quote, was because it was something that put me over the edge too much to accept. And I've since then never had that come up in any relationship, just because I am searching for a relationship that's completely different to the one that I had with Drew. the one that I had with Drew was so fun, so fun. I adored it. But now I go for connections that are a lot more soulful and spiritual. And that's why I've experienced something very different since then. And I've never had the issue come up again, because the relationships that I attract are the people who are very like-minded to me and genuinely have the same belief system as me. And I think that's something very important to consider when it comes to relationships, because otherwise you get a situation like Drew and I, where the communication is blocked off, where boundaries are crossed, and then because boundaries are crossed and communication is not working, toxicity starts coming in. And I think that's completely what was happening here. So that's some food for thought, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you had so much fun listening to it as much as we had recording it. And please make sure to keep your judgment aside, or any words aside, just because we were both being vulnerable and open, just so we could try to educate some people on relationships, and also just for your entertainment. And I think we just had a really good example of two people having completely opposite values. And I think both values are completely valid. So neither of us was wrong or right in that situation. It was just a matter of having completely different beliefs and value on certain topics, which some certain topics are quite important for some people and non-negotiables, and that's totally fine. I think we all have our red flags, and I think we all have our standards and our worth, and that is totally fine. So thanks for listening to this, guys. I hope you had fun listening to it, and I will see you next time for another episode. See ya.